Hi everyone, I'm Denise Peters. I'm a pastel artist and welcome to my Come As You Are Gallery Talk and Exhibition. This is being recorded in my studio at my home, and I just thought I'd spend some time talking about some of my recent work. Since none of us can get out to see it, I thought I'd at least bring it to you. So if you'd like, pour yourself a favorite beverage, whether it be cola or wine. If it's wine, I won't tell. And just enjoy yourself, sit back and relax and enjoy some of my artwork. Thank you for coming. These are some of my recent still lifes, and most recent one of these three is of course the slices up here. That's what the title is. And on that one, as in all of my artwork, it's about light and shadow, contrasts. And I always want a strong light source. And without having the shadows, you can't have light. And of course, color. With me, it's about color too, and details. I mean, you can't have a realistic painting without the details. And I strive to get my colors as realistic as possible and still promote a composition. In this piece, I wanted to achieve a fresh and juicy appearance to the orange slices. Even though pastels are a dry medium, when you have a strong light and the moist sparkles on the closest slice, it gives it an appearance of being juicy. The values, shadows, and color changes give it a three-dimensional appearance. I made the background blue to complement the orange, and I enjoy doing mini paintings, and I think it gives it a bit of intimacy to it because you can get real close to it. These all ended up having the same or similar color palettes to them, which wasn't intentional on my part. It just worked out that way. But this one was painted called Good Morning. It was painted from a photograph I took of a fellow artist at the Pastel Painters Convention last year in Albuquerque. She sat down with her breakfast and sitting in the bright sun because we were eating al fresco outside. And it just struck me, all the colors in that bright morning sun striking across it, creating those shadows and those rich blues against the multiple colors of the fruit and the white dish, just struck me. So I had to paint that, and I told her, I says, hey, I think your breakfast is going to be my still life. And she says, go for it. So I did. And that's it right there. With all my work, I start with a simple outline sketch. And that's all I start with. And most of my rendering of shapes and colors and values is all done on my surface. And all my paintings are done on a sanded paper surface. One of the things I was really trying to focus on, besides the arrangement of colors and shadows and the light reflections in the spoon, the shiny metal spoon, was to get all the shapes and the values to render properly and have the focal point be up here with the darkest against the lightest. And I just wanted it to be a nice, peaceful, bright, happy, good morning scene. This one is Lemonade Anyone is the title of it. But again, I started out with just a sketch and did most of my rendering on the paper. My focal point in this was realistic appearance of the lemon, the sliced lemon here, or the somewhat peeled. And of course the reflections in the glass pitcher. Those are my main focal points, the things that I was really focusing on. And it's sort of like a blue-violet background, and it just kind of picks up with the primary colors, the reds and the yellows and the blues, and they're all arranged together in sort of a shape here for a composition, with the lemon being the main focal point and then the pitcher being the secondary focal point. The next one is Grandma's Trio. It's one of my recent still lifes. I use some of my old antiques that I have around the house, and I just kind of reminded me of my grandmother. So I put those together in a very strong light. I set it up in the scene in my studio and sketched it out, and then went about painting it. It's also contrast here of light and dark as usual for me. I wanted it to kind of have a mystery to it. You know, the past, you know, is gone, but I want to remember all the people who might have used these, and that was what they had. And it just kind of makes you wonder, you know, what it was like to, you know, to have these kinds of things with all our modern conveniences today, what it would have been like. And the next one is also with some of my antiques. This one's called Old Memories, because in the scene everything is sort of a monotone. There's not a lot of variation in colors in this, and I kind of set it up that way with a strong light to make it kind of look like it's fading. And I wanted it to kind of give that symbol, just like old memories, they kind of fade away. And that was kind of the scenario with that one. Okay, this one is called Enlighten, and I just love the antique lamp in this one, and I kind of nice little tilt there to give it some whimsy. But again, as usual for me, a strong light and contrast, light and dark. And I took some old books on an old table, wooden table, and an antique typewriter, which I don't have, so I took a stock photo from online, flipped it over so it fit my composition, rearranged the lighting on it, and put it on here. So all these letterings that I put on my typewriter, I actually had to draw in backwards from what the photo looked like. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but I think it turned out okay. And I just loved how the light kind of spread itself over the books and the typewriter keys and just kind of shined on that. And I have different kinds of books on here. The titles are obscured, so it's not meant to be a highlight on a certain kind of book, but you can put whatever kind of book in there that you want. It was just meant to look like old books, and I just love old books. There's just something about them, you know, they just resonate with me. So I titled this Enlighten because it's shedding its light on all the typewritten words and the typewriter itself. And you can just imagine someone sitting there like an old writer, you know, typing away on that old keyboard. This one is called Better to Light a Candle, after that old phrase, a quote by Confucius. It's better to light a small candle than to curse the darkness. And I think that's very appropriate right now. When I started doing the still life, I didn't realize that this was going to be so appropriate, but it certainly is. I have a couple of focal points in this one. And also it was a bit of a challenge because I have two different sources of light. And I wanted more sources of light because I believe you need to choose the light over the darkness, always. And this one has a light source coming from the side. It's more of a gloomy, bluish kind of light. It's not real bright because it was an overcast day. And then of course the candle light, which is a warm, rich, brighter light. And you can see the candle is the main focal point, the candle light. It's against the light against the dark. And it shines on this little compass or wind vane ornament and on the bright books that are close to it. And the rest of the books just kind of fade off into the darkness. And this book is like those old composition, those blue books we used to have, you know, to write compositions in. And it's got a pocket watch, very similar to my grandpa's. He used to be on the railroad. And this just laying here, picking up this light from the side. So it's not a very warm area here, but then you have a warm area over here. So that is the composition, the contrast that's going on inside this painting. And I want people to just kind of go into it, feel a sense of peace, and to feel the light, and hopefully it brings joy. Again, this is called Better to Light a Candle. Now on this one I titled it Spirit. It's from a stock photo, but I liked it because of the spirit this horse is showing. And I kind of wish I was kind of him, running around free and kicking up a little dust. But I changed it a little bit to improve the composition. And this is monotone, and which is a little different for me, but it's still strong light and contrast, which is the big thing for me. And I wanted to show the power of the horse, a little bit of his spirit and his freedom that he feels, and show all the dust getting kicked up. And he's just having a fun time. And I hope you enjoy it. Well, this is it. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And one of these days, hopefully we get to meet in person again real soon. I hope you enjoyed my Come As You Are gallery talk and exhibition. And if you have any inquiries, please visit my website at www.denicepeters.com. All my work is available online and can be purchased right off of the site securely, and it'll be shipped to you. And I hope everyone's having a good time. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.